Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we played for less because it was after the Fire Emblem Fortunes with Direct, our reaction for the channel. But yeah, after that we played some more FireRed. We continued Moon, and we actually made some good progress because we saved right before a certain event. And yeah, when you see it in game, if you where we saved in game, if you have played any of these of the games, the Gen 1 or remakes, Gen 1 games or the remakes, yeah, you recognize it. And yeah, without further ado, let's start. Okay. And yeah, we left. Here the in-game summary, we left Mount Moon, but yeah, for the Pokémon Center. Bought the repels, but yeah, only 3, so we weren't able to use them much. Left the game for the Pokémon Center, moved our Pokémon around as usual. But yeah, here's where we saved, and yeah, you might recognize it. Yeah, I actually saved here because I thought it would automatically start, but yeah, no, not in these games. Not in this version. We get a wild Pokemon as usual, but no. But yeah, we have this trainer, and yeah, you might recognize that there's something up there. Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, if you then go in front of them, yeah, not a regular it's not a regular battle, but yeah, starts some dialogue first and foremost. As you can hear, the music is still the Mount Moon music. But yeah, so this scientist we have seen, I don't remember exactly the trainer class in Japanese that we have seen already, but yeah, we have found one of them. This one I think might be a different one, but we'll see. But yeah, the overall sprite we have already seen. But yeah, says Cora, Mate yo. And yeah, first and foremost we have this Cora. Which is an interjection with the meaning hey, used to scold or reprove, as says also the online dictionary, but yeah. Accent on the first mora. I don't remember if I had straight up found its origin technically. Let me see on Wiktionary. Okay, interesting, could be actually from as an origin of the etymology mentions from a term for children, technically plural, with that ra at the end. Ko is the kanji we have studied for child. Now we have also studied it on its own an accent, but yeah, then we had this ra, a pluralizing suffix. Also another meaning of it, but yeah, no. So yeah, there's apparently that as a potential etymology mentioned. And then we have simply mate from matsu to wait to await also. Accented. Strictly Japanese verb. U verb, go and verb, so we can change the U into E to make the imperative in plain speech. So yeah, straight up wait. And yeah, last but not least, we have the final sentence particle yo, which is perfect for this context. As we have seen, technically, one of the translations given by the online dictionary is hey. In this case, as I'd say actually more warning or request, technically, in a sense, or in general, simply certainty or emphasis. Oh yeah, so yeah, he is saying, hey, wait. And then says, Kono kaseki wa boku ga mitsuketa n da. First and foremost, kono, the usual part of word part of the Kosodo series, go close to both the speaker and the listener. So far from the speaker, close to the listener. Far from both. Technically, in this case, you would say maybe better than. I guess they considered there is some space simply because of how it's structured here, but yeah, they are still considered close to these characters instead of other ones or the other people around Mamoon, technically. But yeah, regardless, though the interrogative, if I haven't mentioned it, also I usually an accented, though accent on though itself. With the no, we get the demonstrative adjective, so yeah, these or these. In this case, these, we can see that there are two. Followed by a noun, which is kaseki again, yeah. They have been the topic of, the hot topic of this place, unsurprisingly, because yeah, everyone is looking for these fossils. And yeah, in this case we have again kaseki, so yeah, Chinese compound, unaccented like most of those are. Ka we have studied even its kanji is the one to change, also to transform into. In this case, the seki is a stone, so yeah. What has turned into stone, yeah, a fossil. Topic particle where it has a ha. Boku, the usual first person singular pronoun, I, male term or language. So yeah. Then we have the subject particle ga, mitsuketa, and yeah, again we have this compound verb. From miru, we have even studied the kanji of that, and we would use it here if we used kanji. To see, to look at, to watch, tsukeru, to apply, to add, to attach, and so on. So technically applying, seeing, to spot is the meaning of this compound, as in to find, to discover. What's worth mentioning, well, apart from the usual tsukeru, the U of tsu is barely heard if at all between our voice consonants. What's worth mentioning, peculiar to this, is yeah, that it's one of those that tsukeru accented, but this compound verb is unaccented, so be careful. In other cases, luckily, we have seen that the accent of the second verb, part of the compound, is the same than when added in the compound. More convenient, but yeah, this is an exception, be careful. Reverb with some verb, tsukeru, and so also mitsukeru. Miru is also reverb with some verb, and that's why we drop the ru to make the conjunctive form and attach tsukeru. But yeah, And here, again, we drop the rule. To make the contractive form, in this case, to attach the time, make that a form of the verb. So yeah, past form of the verb in plain speech. And then the usual da, no denominalizer for verbs and adjectives, like thing as in fact, here contracted as and then da, the copula in plain speech. So yeah, literally, it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that. So yeah, as you have seen, quite used in Japanese, this expression. Yeah, so he is saying that. As for these fossils, the fact is that I have found them. And yeah, now actually the trainer music starts for a dramatic effect. And yeah, it says then Futatsu Tomo Boku no da. And yeah, first we have Futatsu, the numera plus counter combination of strictly Japanese origin. Yeah, tsu is of strictly Japanese origin, so we use the strictly Japanese numeral. Futa, tsu, and then the usual tsu. This is the general purpose counter. Yeah, tsu of things that don't have or we usually don't use their specific counters, and we can use tsu instead. Then we have this tomo, which is in this case technically a particle. Well, more than the particle, in this case, actually, I think it's better to say that it's a suffix from a kanji. Kanji which on its own means together with. Also same, but yeah, as a suffix, then both. Also used for a typical example you might see also elsewhere relatively often is when you say futari tomo. So yeah, with the numera plus counter of people, in that case the we have even studied its kanji of that. An exception, since usually we use other readings for that kanji, but for counting the number of people, for 1 and 2 we use ri, and is of strictly Japanese origin, so yeah, we have futai again. Futari also accented on the last mora, like futatsu. So yeah, and that's, yeah, you might hear futari tomo as well. Actually, let me see if it shows the accent of that. No, it doesn't show it in the... Let me get the physical dictionary. Got the physical dictionary, the one for the accents, of course, as usual, the one with the suffixes. I wonder if I find it straight up in the usual part here. No, I can't find it there. Maybe by looking for tomo in the straight up dictionary part. We have found some of those that way. So yeah, let's see quickly. Tomo, so no, after here I was on the no, so yeah. Tomo, yeah. Okay, got to it. Okay, when adding that, which is with this tomo, which would have a kanji, which we haven't checked out yet, I don't think so. When you add that one, should be this one because of that meaning as mentioned. it becomes an accent, so actually quite convenient. And yeah, by the way, there's straight up an example with Yonin. So 4 people in that case, Yonin Tomo. But yeah, so should be that one. Yeah, the Tomo straight up, which is technically then a particle, as other accents. But yeah, no, this is Tomo unaccented, so quite convenient, nice. And then we have Boku again, not the possessive particle, so yeah, actually of me, mine. Actually, usually my when followed by something. Here it's not followed by anything, so actually not only it's the possessive particle, but there's also implied an owl, so yeah, then in English would become mine. And then again, last but not least, the copula in plain speech da. So he said, yeah, both these two implied fossils are mine. You can guess why it started then the music dramatically, because okay, yeah, it's the same trainer class straight up in this case. Yeah, we have seen that. Yeah, so in Japanese, rikake no otoko, actually otoko. Rika in general is well, can be the sciences the sciences in general with but not Rika. Rikake, it becomes, yeah, these sciences in general, so also STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So in opposition, by the way, that I haven't mentioned last time, with Bunkake, Chinese compounds of 3 kanji. Luckily, both unaccented, so I guess when you add a K to these, maybe also other words, but definitely at the very least these ones. I can actually look it up while I'm mentioning this. In this case, for sure, they become unaccented, so good to know. But yeah, Bunkake is humanities. So yeah, humanities, social sciences, and fine arts, the liberal arts. Okay, let me actually look it up this time. I think we didn't, or at least we might have actually tried, but I think. Okay, no, can't find it as a suffix, but at least with these two terms, both are unaccented, so quite convenient. And then, yeah, simply off the usual otoko, male, so guy in this case, we could say. The name is Mitsuharu. And yeah, let's tackle this battle. Yeah, we have this new Pokemon, which is called Beto Beta. Okay, I'll mention it. Actually, we should have we have seen it already in Pokemon Snap. But yeah, it comes from Beto Beto. Should be an onomatopoeia. Yeah, Beto Beto, which means sticky. Okay, good thing I actually looked it up again, because it's actually an exception. We have seen that most, I forgot about that, most of these repeated onomatopoeias, so far we have seen them. Actually, we've seen a good amount also thanks to others, like Tomodachi Life, for example. Usual accent on the first mora. Yeah, no, this is an accent, so be careful. And also beta. Another one. This one accent on the first mora as usual. Again, sticky also. What is worth mentioning that by adding that long vowel for styling to make it stylized, it also becomes and is written like that, by the way, in the official transcription of the Japanese name, better. So yeah, like sound in English becomes the closest vowel, which is a, and also the long vowel, like similar to. Well, in this case less so, but yeah, they usually apply that. Similar when we have other terms like in R, actually, when for English varieties they don't have the R sounds, become long vowels, so car, ka. But yeah, we'll see this again, by the way, this Pokemon. Hopefully we'll catch one. But yeah, being poison. Oh boy, and I forgot to heal. So yeah, not the best situation here. Being poison, technically, Bulbasaur would be the best. Actually, I'll do so. If Bulbasaur were only had been only grass type, then yeah, no, it wouldn't be wise, assuming it has poison attacks, which I doubt actually. And using our grass attacks isn't smart because yeah, poison is super effective on. Okay, I used that. We have seen it before. Kanashibari, the move that I don't remember the English name of it, but yeah, it disables a move. Yeah, we can straight up not use that. Not that we wanted to, because we used it once. We could try to make it fall asleep. Actually, I'm tempted to do so, yes, thank you. So we are even safer then. Honestly, we might take it as a chance to heal. Well, at the very least, here Ivysaur a little. Okay, I think we haven't seen that, so we'll actually quickly check it. First and foremost, I don't think we have made, well, not us for sure, because we didn't have a move able to do so. I'm not sure if any of our Pokemon actually fell asleep before. I don't think so, thanks to our abilities. So yeah, here it says, Aite no beto beta wa nemute shimatta. Aite, the usual term, which means opponent in the context here in Pokemon games. Otherwise, also other party and so on. Companion then also. But you know, here opponent. Other party, technically, I'd say, is the best translation for the basic one, considering that the kanji, we have only studied the one for Tef so far, which means a hand, but we'll see when we study the other one. I think I might have mentioned that in general, I means inter, mutual, and so on. But yeah, Aite accent on the last mora. Here most likely then not, because of the following possessive particle, which would usually, there are some exceptions, especially in compounds, in compound words, which are fixed nowadays like that. But yeah, otherwise usually the possessive particle no would make words accent on the last syllable, not just mora, unaccented. Let's say also here, the opponent, name of the Pokemon, beta, topic particle wa. And then Nemute, Shimata. Again, Nemuru, we have definitely seen it because we have mentioned that these status effects here in Pokemon, thanks to the Viridian Trainer School and so on. An accent, Nemuru, to sleep. U verb, gun verb, so to make that a form, we have to follow the rules. It's in rules, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, because we changed the U into I to make the contractive form, Nemuri. Then attach the te, but the ifel, so Nemur te, difficult to pronounce. Double consonant, simply then double consonant te. The form required because then we had Shimau on its own, verb which means to end, to finish. After that, the form of a verb and auxiliary with the means to finish, as in to complete the action of the verb, or more often, to end up doing the action of the verb. So, like in our case, ended up, accidentally fell asleep. Shimau, an accented U verb, gun verb, so we have to to make that a form, again, we have to follow the rules. It's straight up, the final mora is U, so originally was actually Pu. We changed the U into I again, ma pi, ta, and then she added ta, but the I fell again, so yeah, shimapta, difficult to pronounce again, that's why it gets contracted with the doubling of the following consonants. Ta form, so past form of the verb, so yeah, here it says that the opponent, Grimer, ended up sleeping. And yeah, after that it says, when it's still sleeping, aite no beto beta wa, same structure here, gu gu nemuteiru. Yeah, as for the opponent, Grimer in our case here, gu gu, and onomatopoeia once more, repeated twice. The ones repeated twice, means to be fast asleep, or, well, most likely actually because it's a snoring or grumbling sound, so yeah. And again, accent on the first mora, yeah. We have seen again here that, even just with the onomatopoeias we mentioned today, most accent on the first mora, there's one that was an accent, so yeah, beto beto. But yeah, after it we have nemuteiru, so yeah, again nemuru, we make that a form, nemute, and then after it we had iru on its own to be seen to exist, of animate things, people and animals, but after that a form, auxiliary verb with the meaning continuing action or state, so yeah, is doing the action of the verb or has, had, whatever the verb says. Technically here I'd say simply is sleeping. Because yeah, it's currently sleeping, even though technically it is a state in a way, but you know, better it is asleep. Yeah, as for the opponent, Grimer, it's sleeping. It's fast asleep by adapting it, but yeah, it's sleeping. While snoring, but yeah, we have the onomatopoeia there. Yeah, we start up to see the zzz coming out of it. But yeah, can go back to the fight itself. Yeah, no, let's defeat it simply. Ooh, good amount of experience there, nice. Yeah, since another Pokemon here, we could go for the same. Funny enough, I was saying Gu myself. But yeah, we could go for the same. Switch to Rattata. But I think I'll send back again Ivysaur in this case to not risk it. As you have seen, our Pokemon are hurting. Send back. I didn't mention, but we mention it in a second here. Tried to tackle, but luckily failed. the name of this Japanese Pokemon in Japanese, Dogasu, coughing. Another Pokemon we have seen already in Pokemon Snap. First and foremost, clearly, well, the most obvious one is Gasu, from gas, from English, on its own, accented technically on the first mora, like in English, Gasu. The additional U, of course, because the most consonants in Japanese can stay on their own, so we usually add U. Or some other vowels if adding U would change the pronunciation, but yeah, not in this case. The Do before it most certainly is actually a contraction of Doku. We have seen it, its status in Pokemon games. Doku means poison, so yeah, because of that, accent on the last mora on its own. But yeah, from that, and again, we have a longer vowel for stylization, and becomes technically written Dogars in the transcription of the name in English. So yeah. Okay. We can then retry here with our strategy. Yeah, I don't want to risk it. So yeah, some. Ooh, okay, uses smog. Yeah, luckily, being a poison type, I don't. We should not be poisoned, but yeah, it was straight up smog from English. Get this just to show it, but to have it on screen, but you know. Smog, yeah, smog from English, pretty easy. The only thing especially worth mentioning, as usual, notice the doubling of the consonant, unlike in English. The additional U of both Su and Gu, for the reason already mentioned. Luckily, the accent is just like English, so on the mo, smog, sumogu. Okay, we can continue. We could try, okay, I'll try it, failed. We try it one more time to make it fall asleep, but in the case it doesn't work, we'll start straight up attacking. You know, it didn't work. And yeah, that's the issue of these attacks. They aren't particularly accurate. Okay, so let's actually start simply attacking using tackle. Okay. And yeah, honestly, we are fine. We're still more or less at the same health. Slightly decreasing, this time literally 1 HP we lost, so we're fine. With that, Rattata got to level 11. Okay, and last but not least, we have this Pokemon. I switch. Okay, I switch to Paras simply for the experience, but yeah, no, I'll continue with this. Again, I don't want to risk it since we are at the end of the Mount Moon. I think we have seen it before. if we haven't, anyway, we'll eventually find it again. Also wild. So, yeah. We mentioned the name again when we get one, but I think we might have seen it once, thanks to another trainer of this kind. Yeah, let's send Ivysaur back once more. And go for our usual strategy here. We try some more sleeping, we'll see if it works. Yeah, here, recharging. But we should be fine. Okay, this time it worked. You can immediately tell if the animation starts or not. Yeah, it did this time. By the way, I might not have mentioned it. I don't think so, because I don't think we have seen the status in battle before. Yeah, next to the under the Pokemon's name, it says Nemuri. So yeah, straight up simply from Nemuru once more, we change the U into E to make the continuative form and so the corresponding noun. So yeah, sleeping. So yeah, the noun unaccented still, because luckily follows the rule. Yeah, unaccented verb, unaccented continuative form used as the noun. Yeah, so we can proceed with the tackles without. Okay, that we haven't. Yeah, this happened. Well, that we're healing anyway. And yeah, you might have guessed this since it happened there. Based on what happened. Yeah, the Voltor woke up. Yeah, so here it says, Aite no biriridama wa me o samashita. The usual Aite no biriridama in this wa. Usual structure changes only the name of the Pokemon. Okay. Then we have, so yeah, as for the opponent, Biriridama, Voltorb. Then we have Me, the usual Me we have studied events, its kanji, so yeah, eyes, let's say, in this case. As usual, again, words, nouns in this case, in Japanese, can be both singular or plural, as is. We can specify the plural by adding pluralizing suffixes and so on, but yeah, not strictly required, and yeah, not in this case. Accented. And then we have the object particle o, written as one, pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. And last but not least, we have the verb samasu. Straight up, actually, technically we have... I bet I'll actually find it straight up also as an expression read in the online dictionary. Yeah, I found it, unsurprisingly. Samasu on its own, accented, okay, I remember correctly, to awaken. Then also, by extension, to bring to one's senses, to sober up. But yeah, when we put straight up before it as an object, eyes, yeah, it means to wake up first and foremost. Technically still to sober up, although in this case, especially more, mentions also to become enlightened. Also, other than to sober up, to come to one's senses. But yeah. Samasu, verb, colon, verb. We have to follow the rules, but luckily it's in su. So we simply change the U into E to make the continuative form and then attach the tab without contractions and so on. And yeah, so here it's saying, yeah, simply that as for the opponent Voltorb, it woke up as mentioned. but we have finally seen it straight up. In game, we can now proceed to defeating it. Yeah, Ivysaur here is healthier than when we started the fight, so great. Level 17, nice. Particularly useful considering what's coming. Yeah, so we have defeated this. Yeah, so after being defeated, says here Wakata. And then Omae mo Wakete Yaru yo. So first and foremost, Wakata from Wakaru to understand, to comprehend, and so on. Accented verb and verb in russo becomes double consonantato to make it a form. So yeah, we would say that more easily in English. I got it, so in the sense to understand. And then says Omae, second person singular pronoun, you in the singular, unaccented, unlike the original word for mae, which is accented on the first molar, but yeah, here with the honorific prefix o becomes unaccented. Mae on its own means before, so in this case better in front of, most likely, so the person in front of me, that's the origin, with the honorific prefix. So formerly was honorific, but yeah, nowadays actually very informal, and yeah, familiar language, male term or language. Then we have the particle ni, tu. The inclusive particle mo, also even, also. Tu technically, I'd say better here with, we see why, because of the following verb. And yeah, verb which is wakete from Wakaru. You might have noticed that it's similar to Wakaru, changes only the vowel. And yeah, technically it can be written with the same kanji. Wakaru though means to divide into, to split into, to separate, and so on, to classify, because of that. So from that, most likely, the sense is that Wakaru is actually technically the intransitive form of Wakaru. Wakaru, to divide and so on, as we mentioned, to classify. So most likely, Wakaru first had the meaning simply to be classified, they become clear I mentioned for Wakaru, and then from that by extension to understand, but nowadays its fundamental meaning is to understand. But worth mentioning, because yeah, they use the same kanji as we see when we eventually study it. But yeah, so here simply to, well, from to divide into, to split into, by extension, of course, you can easily see why, to share. But yeah, Wakaru, accented, ru verb is some verb, so we can drop the ru to make the contractive form and then attach the te. It's worth mentioning that the accent of the te form is on the third to last more, unlike the dictionary or final form of a verb, which is on the second to last more. And so with ru verbs and some verbs, because we simply drop the ru and attach the te as is, it moves. So Wakaru, low, high, low. Wakete, high, low, low. Yeah, we've mentioned that before, but worth repeating. The form required here because then we had Yaru on its own, unaccented. Its fundamental meaning is to do, is a colloquial form of Suru, the standard verb with the meaning to do, but hieru also has several other meanings, including to give. In this case, with to give is to someone of equal or lower status, still of course colloquial. And yeah, so here we have the meaning when we have a verb of giving after that form of a verb, it gets the meaning to do the favor of doing the action of the verb in te. So here in this case, and then last but not least, again the final sentence particle yo. So here is saying, I'll do you the favor of splitting, of sharing, the fossils. Also with, because of that, then we have to change the ni, we have to translate it as with you. You can see why we use actually the particle ni when you consider that wakeru, its fundamental meaning is to divide, to split into. And as we have seen, the fundamental meaning of the particle ni is to or into. So yeah, that's why. So we can continue here. Want some money as well. Great, since we were actually running out of it. So here automatically then says Boku to omae de kaseki o ikko zutsu da. And first we have boku again, I. To, here the particle technically is still with the meaning with, so with me. Although better translated in English when used like this, noun plus particle to plus another noun as first noun and the second noun. So the second noun is omae again. So I and you. The other way around here compared to English. But unsurprising, especially consider. It isn't strictly required in Japanese the order like in English, and honestly, considering the kind of character they're speaking, it makes more sense that it starts with boku, with I. Then we have the particle de, which, as we have seen, this is the usage we have seen again with. More with the numeral plus counter combinations we have seen, for example, with hitori or futari te, one person, two people. So actually marks who that the action is done by those people. In that sense, could be straight up this day actually the form of the copula. So literally being you and I in this case, you and me, implied in the sense of the ones doing here, or the ones doing then what's coming. So but regardless, is found in that sense here. Kaseki, once more, the fossils, object particle o. Ikko, another numeral plus counter combination. This one is ko is another actually counter for things or pieces, technically small things or pieces, not as general purpose, strictly speaking, as the tsu, but still actually relatively general. worth keeping in mind, considering that this one is of Chinese origin, so can go beyond the number 10. So yeah. The accent, luckily, Ikko is before Ko itself. Ichi becomes contracted because of the following consonant. Ichi, Ko, the I falls, it Ko. So simply then doubling the contraction, so the doubling of the following consonant. The accent can stay on the small tsu, so moves on the I, Ikko. And then we have Zutsu, a particle. I'm pretty sure it's, or actually, yeah, here mentioned technically more as a technical suffix in general. Regardless, its meaning is each. So yeah, each a piece. Can also be at a time. So technically it says also as the other translation for that, piecemeal. But yeah, each I'd say keep that one in mind. Let me see actually the accent when adding Zutsu, since we have the physical dictionary here. If it's mentioned. Zutsu. Okay, found it. Okay, there are two variants. Either on the Zu of Zutsu or before Zutsu. Honestly, it doesn't seem that it matters, both exist. The first one mentioned would be on the Zu of Zutsu. So honestly, go for either. Ikkozutsu. I say maybe more easier to pronounce it Zutsu or Low. But yeah. And then simply the copula in plain speech. Da. So yeah, he's saying here, yeah. It's one fossil each, you and I. Then says Hitori jime wa dame da zo. Says him that he was the one actually that said it before it. But yeah, first and foremost, Hitori, as already mentioned, one person, accent on the top. We have now studied both kanji. And yeah, would be written literally with the kanji for one. When written technically with the kanji, the number 1. As we have seen more often than not, nowadays we can straight up simply use. Well, maybe this one, in this case we would use both kanji in this particular case because of the whole matter of the ri. More often than not, as you have seen with numeral plus counter combinations, we use the new Arabic numerals, the ones found also in English, so yeah, like the Ikko above. But yeah, Hitori, so one and person. Then we have this Jime. This we have never seen before. Okay, let me see if I can find it by adding with okay, don't seem to find it there. Let me see if I can find it so we can also, by the way, check its accent. The meaning is clearly in general, simply exclusively as one person. So yeah, all as only one person. I wanted to mention, we look also up its accent by looking it in this dictionary. If you can find it, of course. Okay, no, found. I can find it only in a. Yeah, no. I think it's only mentioned as that Gme is most certainly actually the G is due to the voicing of she, in the sense that so the word would be shime. It's voiced only because it becomes technically the second word of this bigger compound is of strictly Japanese origin, so it becomes voiced due to that. Shime comes from the verb shimeru, which means to tie, to fasten, to tighten, and so by extension also to total, to sum. Ru verb is unverb, so we can drop the ru to make the conjunctive form and so the corresponding noun. So shime, we get tying up, binding, fastening. By extension, so also total, sum. So yeah, I think it's in that sense here. Yeah, no, I don't think it's another shime, and again, it should be voiced because of that. But yeah, the meaning is clear regardless. Yeah, it's literally if it's this one as the total of one person, so yeah, again in the sense of alone, only you as one person. Yeah, then we have the topic particle wa, again. Dame, accented on the last mora. When written with kanji, usually nowadays written with kana, that me would be again the one for I. But the meaning here of this is no good, useless, broken, on its own, by extension then also hopeless. But yeah, no, in this case then by extension, as in not allowed, cannot, must not. And then yeah, it's an adjective, so we then add the copula da. Last but not least, the final sentence particle so. Made or more language adds force. I would say personally emphasis also technically. Also command, but yeah, technically command actually works well in this case. But yeah, so he's saying here, yeah, as for it being exclusively for one person, it's not allowed. Says him that wanted to keep them all for himself. And yeah, when we talk to him, it repeats that. I'd say we'll take our usual break right now. When we'll be back around 2 or at most 3 minutes, as usual, we'll actually check these fossils and make our choice. I won't mention it to keep the suspense, although you might remember that I think I have mentioned what my plan was. As a clue, if you might remember what we have seen in the Pewter Museum, yeah, we have seen that one there, so yeah, it makes more sense the other one. But yeah, see you in after the break for our choice here, and of course the dialogue that will be shown. And we are back. Yeah, so we can continue by choosing, seeing. First, we actually get a wild Pokemon, of course, because yeah, that's inevitable while not using repels. But yeah, let's check which this one first. Okay, this one is called Kora no Kaseki. Well, it says the dialogue. Kora no Kaseki ni suru. Yeah, so of course, as usual, then we have the choices hi or ie, yes or no. Those we have seen before, of course. We have Kora, which I think I've mentioned doubt in this very series, but most likely in I'm pretty sure I've seen it in Mario World, for example. Yeah, it's Kora is the term for shell of a crab, technically, yeah, of a crab, tortoise, and so on, carapace. Unaccented. Written technically with kanji, but and would use technically the Chinese readings of the kanji, but I have some doubts about. Let me see if I can find it on Wiktionary to see if it mentions its etymology. Actually, written technically as Kora from Kahu Ra, Kapura originally, because of the Chinese reading of Ko was actually Kapu, then Kau with the evolution of the language, and then Ko, long O. But yeah, no, doesn't mention. Although actually I suspect because technically it's a Japanese term, it's not found in pretty sure it's not found, also isn't shown when I looked it up there on Wiktionary. It's not present in Chinese, so could be straight up actually strictly Japanese origin, despite using when written in kanji. Also, we applied those. We use those kanji for their Chinese readings. Although technically ko on its own means armor. Although it could be a convenient coincidence. Sometimes they do apply kanji for this so-called ateji. It's a case of ateji, says also the plugin. Kanji used for the phonetic values instead of the meaning. Although even in those cases, sometimes you might have also lucky coincidence, like that then they also had the one for armor, which could be related then also in the meaning. But yeah, c'è Kora, shell. Then we have the possessive particle no, Kaseki again, so yeah, literally the shell fossil. Particle ni, here required by the verb suru. Suru, as already mentioned, on its own to do. But when we add the particle ni before it, and before that a noun, it gets the meaning to choose. So yeah, as in to do, technically, we could say it as an implied one's choice for whatever the noun is. So yeah, this is the first one. So yeah, will you choose the shell fossil? We'll see the other one first. And yeah, this one is Kai no Kaseki ni Suru. Kai actually should be an accented. We have, funny enough, studied its kanji. No, actually accented, sorry, I was confusing it. Accented, I suspect in this case, necessarily on the A, on the K, because I most likely is considered a diphthong. And so yeah, then the accent can stay only on the A of K. But yeah, Kai, accented. Yeah, but yeah, we have studied its kanji, its meaning is shellfish. So yeah, technically it's still shell, but as in seashell. And yeah, considering that you might have guessed, other than the order here, yeah, on the left should be for Kabuto. This one should be the one for Omanite. Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, much easier. This one in particular is the famous helix fossil in English. Famous also for reasons outside of the games themselves. Yeah, Twitch plays Pokémon. But yeah, possessive particle again, Kaseki ni Suru. So yeah, the same, then we only change the type. And yeah, as I mentioned, the clue was about the one I was thinking of. We have seen the fossil of Kabutops in particular in the museum. So actually I mentioned there, I'm pretty sure the name at least of Kabutops, but also Kabuto. And honestly, they are also like in English. But yeah, I'm thinking of going for Omanite, so yeah, I'll choose this one. Yeah, the usual structure with that you got name of the item, O, Te, Ni, Ireta, usual stuff. We put it in the important things pocket, as usual. Okay, yeah, that we haven't seen before. Yeah, so funny enough, also the jingle plays also for this NPC. But yeah, he says, "Sore ja, kore wa boku no mono da." And yeah, sore ja first and foremost, contraction of sore de wa. Sore part again, Kosodo series. With the re we get the demonstrative pronoun. So in this case, with the so, that, or those. Without anything else, it's a pronoun. Unaccented. Then we have, we would have in the not contracted form de. In this case, definitely, well, I say even more so the te form of the copula, so literally being that way, being like that. After it, the topic particle wa. So literally, as for it being like that, we can say that when we have the form of a verb and then the topic particle wa after it, we could also translate it in English. If that's the case, in our case here, like here, so and if in that sense, more literally, as for that being the case. The accent technically for Dewa, I suspect, would be accented on the de. So re is an accent, so technically it would be like that. But yeah, regardless, he gets contracted Dewa into Ja. But yeah, the meaning stays the same. So it's actually used technically as a like a conjunction. Literally is the meaning we mentioned. But yeah, as well, right, or so, then. Yeah, then after that it says kore. So again the word with the demonstrative pronoun with go these singular here because yeah it's speaking only one of them. Topic particle wa. Boku once more. I possessive particle no, so yeah of me my. After it we have a noun in this case, and yeah it's straight up simply mono. Thing, as in an object, accent on the last more, we've even studied kanji, and then being a noun, the copula da, so plain speech again. So here is saying simply, well then, if that's the case, as for this, it's my thing. I want to press that. Yeah, let's see what he has to say after that. Yeah, he says, Koku kara sugoku toi kedo Guren town ni well, we can we keep it like that for now. First and foremost, Koko, part again of the Kosodo series. With the Ko, we get a place. So yeah, this place. So then simply here. Kara, the particle which means from. So yeah, from here. Then we have Sugoku, from Sugoi. We've seen it before, maybe even in this very series. An adjective that means at the same time both terrible and terrific. Notice the similarity technically also in English. Honestly, more often than not, the second one, so yeah, terrific as in then amazing, great, and so on. Here, actually, we get then with the it's a adjective, so we can drop the E to add the Q, and so technically make what we could say is the continuative form of the adjectives, but here in its usage on its own as the corresponding adverb, the accent should move again. Instead of being on the second to last more, then moves on the third to last more once more. Cioè, Sugoku. So yeah, awfully technically, but yeah, as in very. After it, we have another adjective, toi. Should be unaccented, if I recall correctly, which means far, distant, and so on. Physically, as in for locations, but also then time, technically, so distant, past. Yeah, unaccented. After it, we have kedo, a conjunction, this one for sure. Well, no, strictly speaking, not considering its source, but let's ignore it for now. Kedo means but. So yeah. It's worth mentioning that like ga, which also has the meaning but when used as a conjunction. Although ga more so, strictly speaking, but in practice I've seen it also kedo. There's the whole matter of being used also as an introductory remark and so on. But yeah. After that we have Guren town. Actually, you might have heard the term Guren potentially, unsurprisingly another color, because of the Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin's first opening, Guren no Yumiya. And yeah, if you remember, yeah, it's a bright red. Literally would actually be more, the literal meaning of Guren is crimson lotus flower. Gu is for the crimson, red again. Bright red, more specifically, technically. So, yeah, crimson. And then Ren is actually the lotus flower. But yeah, then clearly by extension from the flower itself, yeah, then we get the color bright red. Chinese compound, so actually unaccented. And then simply town. So yeah, based on the color, you might have guessed that, yeah, this is Cinnabar. And also, if you have played this game before. But we'll see it then when it shows up, when we get to it. As it mentions here, very distant, hopefully distant from here. Actually, strictly speaking, not that much, considering the map itself. In practice, it's quite far away for us because of how to get to it. But yeah, then we have the particle knee, but yeah, we'll see it. But yeah, I've already translated, so yeah. It's very far, hopefully far from here, but yeah, so I think actually Kaido in that case better as an introductory remark, technically. But yeah, we continue. Yeah, Guren Town ni Pokémon Kenkyūjō ga aru. So yeah, the ni was in at, so the location where with verbs of staying. And after that we have Pokémon Kenkyūjō. We have already seen it, Pokémon Laboratory. Literally research place, so yeah, research lab. We have seen it with Ox Kenkyūjō before it, but yeah, we have the term again. As a reminder, Kenkyū actually Kenkyū, Chinese compound, an accent of two kanji, so the ones I usually I'm referring to when I mention Chinese compounds, the most common ones, the ones of two kanji. There can be bigger ones, like in this case, becomes a three kanji because we had a suffix. But yeah, Kenkyū on its own unaccented, as usual. When we had Zō, luckily, it's still unaccented, so yeah, Kenkyūjō, subject particle ga, and then Aru, yeah, the verb of staying, to be as in to exist, of inanimate things, so yeah, like a play, like the building or the Pokemon lab, or you could say those with the activity also there of the Pokemon lab, but yeah, as in the lab itself, yeah, with an inanimate thing. In translation also there is, there are, then simply, so yeah. Cioè, there is at Cinnabar Island, Guren Town, but yeah, we'll see it again, a Pokemon laboratory. And yeah, then it says, Kaseki yo yomigae raseru kenkyū mo shiteru rashii ze. And yeah, so Kaseki once more, the fossils in general, in this case, object particle O. Yomigai Raseru, from Yomigairu. Yomigairu, I don't think we have mentioned it, we've seen it before. I think we might have found it once, but yeah, let's mention it again. When written with kanji, it usually uses a single kanji, but the origin is clearly compound from yomi. Yomi, I think the accent is on the last mora, yeah. No, okay. Actually, it's on the first mora, so yomi. I was thinking about that because of the potential origin, but yeah, no, regardless. The underworld. So yeah, more as in technically also translated as hell, but yeah, no, more like underworld as in like Hades. And then we have Gairu, yeah, from Kairu, yeah, the one to return, to come back from the underworld. So yeah, from that you can easily see why then the meaning of this Yomigairu. The accent is accented like Kairu, and also applies the AE, considered a diphthong, so the accent is on the Ga instead of the third to last mora instead of the second to last mora, but simply because it can stay there if we consider it a diphthong. It can stay on the second vowel of a diphthong, like it can stay on the second vowel that is simply actually the longer vowel of the previous one, and so on. But yeah, from that, yeah, come back, return, come back from the underworld, yeah, it means to be resurrected, resuscitated, and so on, revived. U-verb, colon verb, like Kairu, we have seen that that Kairu is a U-verb, colon verb, despite being in Eru, because verbs in Eru and Iru usually are Ru verbs, it's some verbs, but there are some exceptions. Kairu, this one, the accented one, is one of them, and so also we can further see that it comes from that. U-verb, colon verb, so we can change the U into A, and then add the seru to make the causative form of the verb. So yeah, to make, instead of to be revived, to make someone or something in our case here be revived. So yeah, then to revive, or whatever other meaning translation you want to use there. Causative form of verbs are Ru verbs, Ichiran verbs. Notice the Eru, yeah, because of that. After it, we have a noun, so once more we have a relative clause. Can cue the following noun, already mentioned research. Inclusive particle mo, also even. Shiteru, cioè suru. Suru is completely regular, we have to remember its continuative form is si. And then we add simply the te to make the te form. Ste, the e becomes barely heard if at all, because it's between a voice consonants. Then the following ru is actually a contraction of iru, so yeah, again, continuation of state. After that, we have rashi. We have seen it before. This auxiliary adjective has the meaning see me appearing, but in the case of you express a judgment based on evidence, trustworthy, you say, and so on. Reason also, yeah, mentions there. Unlike other forms. But yeah, this one is with these meanings. Last but not least, the final sentence particle ze, made more language. This one, familiar language, of course, also. This one adds light force or emphasis. Can also be threatening or ironic, but yeah, not in this case. So yeah, he's saying that, they're also there at the lab. They're also it seems that they're also doing researches in English. We have adapted then about reviving fossils. In Japanese, as we have seen, yeah, it's a relative close. Researches that in which yeah, that's better, in which they revive again to make so that they are revived fossils. So yeah, now yeah, we've just got it. Let's check out what the description of the item says here in yeah. We can now have also confirmation by looking at the sprite straight up. Yeah, even though it was pretty clear that this one was the helix fossil, consider that yeah, it's straight up shell fish, or then the shell of a shellfish. But now we can straight up see it with the icon. Yeah, the description says O mukashi umi ni sundeita kodai Pokémon no kaseki. Stops there. So yeah, first and foremost we have this O mukashi, a compound noun. Then also used as an adverb, as we'll see in a second, but yeah. Combines the O, the usual, it's the kanji for peak, which we have already studied, plus mukashi. Mukashi on its own unaccented. Technically a noun nowadays. Means the past, the old days, former times, a long time ago. Yeah, even better here with the O, as we'll see in a second. But yeah, when we had O, the accent in this case, then we actually put the accent on the mu of mukashi, despite them being unaccented, as we have just mentioned. I suspect that's because actually it becomes a compound, as so the accent being on the first more of the second word part of the compound, yeah, it's a typical spot for this. Not the only one, unfortunately. These compounds of strictly Japanese origin are less predictable than Chinese compounds. But yeah, this is one of the most typical spots for them. So yeah, literally big past, so yeah, ancient times, but even more distant past. I guess straight up prehistoric times, a very long time ago. Again, in our case, we could say straight up prehistoric times, but yeah, in Japanese, simply straight up big past, as in the yeah. Even more distant past. Then we have umi. Yeah, you can see then why it's used technically also as an adverb. So yeah, as in the time when whatever is said by then the verb takes place. But yeah, we have then umi, a noun which means sea. Technically also ocean. The fundamental meaning would be sea, but yeah, it can be then simply waters, so sea or ocean in general. Accent on the first more. Ni as the particle, so yeah, actually in at again with verbs of staying, because the following verb sundeita, from sumu, to live, to reside, to inhabit. Sumu, verb, common verb. So to make that a form, like in this case, we have the folder whose becomes nde, originally we changed the U into I, sumi, and then that's simply the te. But then the I fell, so we add the nasal, became simply the generic nasal, nowadays written as the moral nasal. That also made the following te voiced, because actually voiced consonants in classical Japanese were prenasalized, so actually de was already de. So when you put a nasal before it, before the te, you can see why then it becomes voiced, but also straight up because it's prenasalized. But yeah, that's why sunde. Again, after it we have iru. Here, iru, ru verb, it's a verb, so we can drop the ru, make the continuative form, then simply to attach ta. So yeah, past form of this form, teiru, continuing action or state. So yeah, continuing action or state, but in the past. After it, we have a noun, so and once more a relative clause as usual. Here, technically, first we have the kodai. Kodai means ancient times. This one is a Chinese compound. Accent on the first molar, so the second most common accent for those. Yeah, literally ancient times, because yeah, uses the kanji for old and the one for period, age. But yeah, so ancient times. After it, Pokemon. So actually, in this case, so yeah, ancient Pokemon used, I'd say, as a becomes a compound. We could say, or we could say simply kodai. Technically, is a noun that can take the possessive particle no to make in practice an adjective. Here, to make it, they make it a compound, but yeah, it's still, and so the no is not present. But yeah, still that most likely as in an adjective. So yeah, ancient Pokemon. Pokemon of ancient times. Then we have the possessive particle no, kaseki once more, so yeah, fossil. So yeah, here it says, yeah, it's the fossil. It's the of an ancient Pokemon that in English then we have adapted used to live in Japanese simply was living straight up in the sea. Well, at the start actually we had straight up in the sea in prehistoric times. We could say, yeah, literally the usual, yeah. In the very distant past. Oh yeah, after that it says Kaigara no Ichibu Rashi. And by the way, I think the first part we have seen before, the one we have already translated, is shared by the other fossil we aren't getting, we didn't get here. Oh yeah, this one is exclusive, and yeah, we can already see it because yeah, we have this Kaigara. Yeah, the Kai is the one we have already mentioned for seashell. Or shellfish. Where the gara comes from actually kara, accent on the last molar on its own becomes voiced because it's the second word part of a compound. It's of strictly Japanese origin, that more often than not happens to those. Shell, as in shell, husk. We've actually seen it before in this very series, I think, thanks to the whole Metapod and or Kakuna matter in the Pokédex. But yeah, by combining the two, we get even more specifically, because we have seen that Kai can be shellfish and then by extension also seashell shell. But yeah, no, this one is specifically seashell shell. The accent is on the ga of Gara, so again on the first more of the second word part of the compound. Then we have the possessive particle no. Ichibu. Yeah, strictly speaking, would be a numeral plus counter combination. Bu means part, portion, section also. Accent on its own. Yeah, by adding one, ichi, yeah, one part, one portion, one section. By extension also is also used for one copy of a book or one complete set of books. But let's focus on the fundamental meaning here. One part, portion, section. The accent, as mentioned here, for is before bu. At the very least for this one, we won't check the other ones for now. I guess most likely it applies also to the other ones, but yeah, we'll verify it another time. And yeah, after it we have Rashi. Again, so here it says, yeah, it seems, yeah, it seems we can literally see it here. We have even the icon, like one part. One portion section of a seashell. Oh yeah, we have checked also its description. Yeah, we won't do anything with it anytime soon because of what he mentioned. Okay, we can continue then here. We have an item there. We'll get it. If it's something new, we might even check it, but I'm not sure. Okay, simply an antidote. We should have already checked it then in shops. We could, yeah, take this, and actually leave. Yeah, it's straight up there, the exit. And as you might just noticed, in the top left corner, we are still on Route 4. Yeah, technically Route 4 is both the left side and the right side outside of Mount Moon, and yeah, we can see Mount Moon in the middle. But we'll actually go back into Mount Moon, because we have one last thing I really should do here before leaving, and even also considering what happens outside in this part of Route 4, as we'll see eventually. I think, by the way, there are hidden items and would have been great to get for more moonstones, but that unfortunately will take definitely more too much time, and it's not worth it now. What I do want to get though immediately, I want to press the help there, is trying to find, and this is why I didn't use the, I think we have one repel left, but I didn't want to use it here on this floor, because on this floor it's more likely to, for certain wild Pokemon to show up. You might have guessed it based on some NPCs dialogue we have seen before. But yeah, we want to look for that. It's not the highest chance, it's actually I think 6%, so relative, quite low, but at least it's not straight up 1%, but yeah, pretty sure we can find it only here, so you know, we'll go around here a little to we look for that. Luckily, all these Pokemon seem to be at a lower level, and so we can always flee with Rattata. Oh, okay, we got lucky. And yeah, it's Clefairy. we mention the name at this point when we after catching it in the Pokédex page. In this case, it will show up. Okay, not healing Pikachu was not the best. I'll try actually with Ivysaur then. We'll try going for some sleeping. Paralysis would be the safest bet. Can actually use these. Paralysis would be the best, the safest bet because when you paralyze a Pokemon, unless an item is used, so not to wild, the case of wild Pokemon, they can't get rid of it. And we want a status effect, of course, to increase the chances of catching it. I'm kind of worried about using attacks here, especially with Ivysaur, because also with this ongoing, honestly I might start using Pokeballs already. We have a lot. It could already work. It didn't. Okay, yeah, woke up. We'll try to make it sleep once more. In the meantime, of course, it will. It failed. But yeah, its life will decrease anyway, thanks to used Encore. I think we have seen it before, so I won't mention it again. But yeah, as it says, the name Encore is from French, found also in English. If I press attack AU, immediately I have to use this attack. I'm forced to use this attack. But yeah, lucky it worked. Still, it's sleeping. But yeah, this time, actually, with this, it will go to lost more than a half health. So yeah, we can use a Pokeball and it should work this time. Hopefully. Perfect. So yeah, we luckily found it pretty quickly. And yeah, of course, we have the Pokemon, the Pokédex page. The category is Yamano Pokemon, again. Mountain Pokemon, Pokemon of the mountain. The Japanese name is Pippi. I'll open, as usual, the Bulbapedia page of it, just to see if they have additions. Even though I have a good idea of its origin, as is that P repeated twice, with also the double consonant in the middle, doubling out the P is actually most certainly from Pixie. Pixie, yeah. So in Japanese would be Pikushi. Okay. Let me find that for the accent of the word Pixie. Pixie, but yeah, Pikushi in Japanese. We have the usual additions of the vowels because for the U, for the Q, because it can stay on its own, and X becomes Q, C. And also with the longer vowel than at the end, Pixie. Okay, I can find the accent there. Let me see if I can find it in the physical picture. It is one I could potentially find. Well, not as likely considering, yeah, that's not the most common word, of course. Also considering that, yeah, the corresponding creatures can have a Japanese term, well, not specifically pixies, but yeah, more fairies and so on, have a Japanese term. But yeah, let's see if it's present. No, not present even with the physical dictionary. I'd say my guess, like in English, so yeah, on the Pixie. But yeah. Well, actually, speaking of the Japanese term, when we check the category of the Pokémon, it says Yosei Pokémon. Yosei is a Chinese compound. There are other Yosei, but yeah, this is the one for fairy, sprite, health, all that stuff. But yeah, Yosei, unaccented Chinese compound, so the most common accent for those. So yeah, fairy is that. The other Yosei also unaccented, so you can distinguish them based on the accent, simply based on the context, or if you have the kanji, when writing kanji, also the kanji. And then we have the description. And by the way, the elephant in the room, yeah, of course, when they introduced the fairy type in Pokemon in Gen 6, this is became a fairy type, and surprisingly, it's straight up the fairy Pokemon, yeah. But yeah, here normal, so to defeat them quickly you can use fighting moves. But yeah, says the description. Aikurushi sugata kara petto yo ni ninki ga aru. We have first and foremost this Aikurushi, which is technically a compound adjective. I, first and foremost, is the noun. You might have heard this one for love. Love, then we could say by extension affection in general, and other extended meanings, but yeah, love. And then we have this kurushi. Kurushi on its own, accented, means painful, difficult, tough, hard. Technically, strictly, the original meaning would be painful, and then we have those other extended ones, and even more so extended ones, technically. So yeah, technically we have painfully lovely, we would say, but yeah, so then in the translations, simply then lovely, cute, charming, sweet, lovely, I'd say, the fundamental one. To keep at least the love part of it. After it's a adjective, so yeah, after it we can add the noun. It modifies immediately. Noun, which is sugata. You might have seen it before. Don't remember if in this series. Sugata means figure, form, shape, appearance, and so on. Strictly speaking, most certainly is actually compound. The su would be the usual one, with the meaning one's nature. Also other various meanings, but yeah, no, in this case let's say the one one's nature, fundamentally. Well, actually in this case better the extended meaning of plain, unadorned, and so on. After that we get gata from kata, as you might have guessed. Again, the voicing is due to being, and that's also why you can even more likely it's a compound originally. Voiced because of that, second word part of the compound, strictly Japanese origin. But yeah, kata also can be used straight up that as gata as a suffix, type, style, model, pattern, and so on. So yeah, you can see why then from plain, type, style, and so on, yeah, you get this term sugata. Accent on the first more, so could be the accent on the last more, last and only actually in this case, more of the first word part of the compound, another typical spot for the accent of those compounds. But yeah, cioè figure, form, shape, appearance, then state, condition, and so on. But yeah. So yeah, a lovely figure or appearance and so on. Then we have kara. Strictly speaking, like this should be from. And we could technically keep it as is. In translation, it could work better as if it were the kara as the conjunction, which means because it has a lovely shape and so appearance. But yeah, by the way, most like the kara, which has the meaning from, and the kara as the conjunction, most likely related, because you can see that from something being a certain way, you can see how that becomes because then the cause of something. But yeah, regardless. And actually, strictly speaking, originally most likely wasn't a particle, but it's actually straight up a word. But let's ignore it for now. But yeah, after that we have petto, pet from English. Notice the doubling of the consonant, typical as we have seen in Japanese. The accent like in English on the petto. Then we have the yo after it, or better the expression yoni. So yo we have seen for on its own, well, when usually used when we have before it either a noun, in which case it yo has the meanings kind, form, style, and so on, or by extension then like, similar to. After verbs also, but in that case it's a way to method of appearing, looking. But yeah, when we add the particle ni then, or instead of the particle could be technically the continuative form of the classical copula nari, so literally being like that. So yeah, we get the meaning so that, well, actually in this case, like as simply. With verbs, we can also have the meaning so that, in order that, in order to. But yeah, here simply like as. Then we have ninki. Ninki is a Chinese compound. The nin is actually the one for person. We have already studied its kanji. The ki is the one we haven't studied its kanji, but we have mentioned it a lot. It's the usual one for mind, spirit, and all the other extended meanings. So you can, from that, person and mind, spirit, and so on, we actually get the meaning popularity. That's usually the most common meaning for that. The other one, which actually could be more likely the original one, condition, also, for example, of the market, tone, character, nature. But yeah, no. More often than not, you see ninki, yeah, used as in popularity. From technically another translation given public favor, not exactly like in the Japanese term, but you can get an idea why from that. Ninki, an accent, Chinese compound. And here we can see then with the subject particle ga, and then the verb aru, to be assumed to exist, there is, there are, then. Or we could say also, when we have the structure something ga aru, it can also be as in to, is one of the ways in Japanese to make the verb to have that something. So literally, that something exists, is present, and then implied or specified before that, all that with the topic particle wa, someone, for that someone, that something exists, so that someone has the something. It's worth mentioning that because technically this ninki garu, or by replacing the no, ga, the subject particle ga with no, when used as an expression, and usually then in relative clauses, which could be used as a relative clause, then you get the expression for popular, so literally that has popularity. But here it's at the end of the sentence, so it's saying, so from, I'd say better in English actually, because it has a lovely shape, appearance, it's popular, it has popularity, as a pet. And then it says, last but not least, Tadashi, Naka Naka, Mitsukerare nai. First and foremost, we have Tadashi, a conjunction. However, this one worth mentioning. You find it better translated as however, technically also but found at the start of a sentence, accented on the first morat, on the Tadashi. Then we have Naka Naka. I think we have seen it before for the first time recently, maybe in the other current Let's Learn Japanese with series, The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls, Kairu no Tame ni Kane wa Naru. Naka Naka is, strictly speaking, the repetition of Naka, which we have even studied kanji, on its own accent on the first mora, means inside, interior, middle, center, and so on. When doubling it, it can still have technically the meaning middle, halfway point, but more often than not it's actually used with the meaning very, considerably, easily, and so on. Well, better, very, considerably, and so on. By the way, of course, that in the positive, when used with a verb in the negative, it becomes readily, we have mentioned one of the translations, so not readily, by no means, but usually in the positive, well, actually not, not like here we have a negative. Naka Naka, when doubled, here becomes an accent, so be careful. See. As anticipated, we have a negative verb following, so not readily. And then, the verb is mitsukerare nai, and mitsukeru once more, to spot, to discover, to find. Verb is some verb, so we can change the u into a, and another re-ru, we can see the ru because of further conjugation, to make the potential form, like in this case, or the passive form of the verb. But you can distinguish them in the full extended form, apart from the you have to depend on the context. in practice, and also for convenience to make it shorter, the potential form can be found also by dropping the ra. So it would be here mid-scare and I. And to make it also, by the way, closer to technically the potential form of u-verbs, u-verbs, godan verbs, in which we change the u into a. And then a true. But yeah. Potential or passive form is a verb, it's a verb as well. So we can drop the ru to make, in this case, the real is not a state form. We could call it in contemporary Japanese simply negative base. And yeah, to then add nai, an e adjective which means non-existent on its own. And so make the negative form of the verb in plain speech. So yeah, here is saying, however, it can't be found readily, can be found easily. So yeah, this is said, yeah, it's quite popular. We'll see how much actually as a pet, and also quite popular technically in general. There's consider a certain item we'll eventually find. But yeah, however, it can be, it's not easily found, yeah, because actually it's here in Mount Moon, and that should be it. But yeah, so with that, we've caught it. No nickname, we'll send it back to the PC. And yeah, we'll exit Mount Moon, but we'll save here. Yeah, it's time for us to end here. Yeah, perfect spot. Yeah, we finished Mount Moon today, so yeah, this is the perfect spot for it. Although I might to show next time. Well, actually, we can simply mention it, and it will be shown, I think, exiting here. I suspect we might see it a lot of times, then next time it might be always be full of that then. Oh yeah, regardless, we'll save here. And we can close the game. And yes, so today we continued Pokémon FireRed. We finally finished Mount Moon. Also got the fossil at the start. Eventually got also, actually at the end, Clefairy. So we did all the essential things. Yeah, there might be some hidden items, and actually would be convenient to get some. I think there might be some more moonstones. But yeah, we might check them in the future in the case. But yeah, for now we are done with it. But yeah, so next time, which for Pokémon FireRed, unless plans change, will be on Friday, we'll actually continue. We'll start this part of Route 4, and we'll see what happens there. In the middle, of course, we would have on Wednesday the other Let's Learn Japanese with series, Kairu no Tameni Kane Wanaru, the frog for whom the bell tolls. And yeah, see you next time.